friends and colleagues have looked very different over the past 7 months, and tonight is no exception. Since we can't be together to celebrate in person and reflect, we're happy you're joining us virtually. Now, I hope you've got your cell phones, your candles, and dare I say, your credit cards ready. With all the practice we've had this year on our Zoom calls, I'm sure you're all pros at this these days. So how about, I know you were all talking about where you're from originally, but you're also welcome to jump into the chat and share messages with each other, share them with Women Aware, let us know where you're from, what brought you here tonight. And now, before we jump into our program, I'm going to get us started with a quick group activity to get everybody really in the mood. I hope everyone has their cell phone ready, but you can also do this on your computer. If you look on your screen, you should see a page right now at with an address of Kahoot at, Kahoot.it. That's KAHOOT.it. If you go to that site on either your cell phone or your computer, you should come up to this page and you want to enter the game pin that you see on your screen now. We're also putting that in the chat to make it easier. The game pin is 327-5837. Once you've entered it, you can quickly enter a nickname and log in. And as you'll see, we're starting to see some names pop up on the screen, for those of you who've already joined us. So I'll give it just a moment to see. We got a lot of people jumping in here. And once we get a few more people in, I'm going to ask one question of everybody. And then once we open the poll up, I'm going to want you to answer with just one word, this one question. So I think maybe we can go ahead and open the poll now. And I want to ask everyone, what's giving you strength today? Where are you finding your strength? And remember, if you can enter it with just one word, go ahead and type it in. Oh, here we go. Now I want you to go ahead and type your word in and tell us where you find your strength, where you're getting your strength today. Here we go. We're starting to get some answers now. All right, I see a lot of people signing in and a lot of people typing in their words. I think we're going to have a big reveal here in a moment. And here we go. Seeing all kinds of great answers. Faith, friends, hope, family, kids, grandbabies, reading, Jesus, deep breaths, all kinds of things, more kids. And if you look on your screen, you'll see all of the different words. We've created this great word cloud, and a word like family, which is extra large, that means that a lot of us have put in that family is what's giving us strength right now. So you can see we all have a lot in common in addition to being here tonight. So I think that's about it. Thank you again for working with us. We wanted to get everybody warmed up since we can't all be in the same room together. We wanted to get us all warmed up and ready to be here. And so I really appreciate it. And I wanted to let you know too, that looking at all of your faces and seeing all the words you put in, you being here with us tonight to help us celebrate our 40 years is what's giving me strength tonight. So I really appreciate that. As we get going, we are very honored to have so many of you here with us and so many of our partner organizations represented at tonight's event. If you could, when I mention the organization you're affiliated with, just give us a quick wave so we know who you are. We've got folks from Senator Joseph Vitale's office, the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, the New Jersey Coalition to End Domestic Violence, the New Jersey Department of Children and Families Division on Women, the New Jersey Department of Children and Families Division of Child Protection and Permanency, the New Jersey State Police, the Middlesex Police Department, the Puerto Rican Action Board, Rutgers University, and the Township of South Brunswick. And I know we had a lot of folks coming in at the last minute in the last hour or so, joining us. So if we didn't call your organization, we are really glad you're here with us. And we're sorry we missed you. We missed listing you. Now, as we formally begin our presentation, I also want to put a huge thank you out to all of our generous sponsors who made it possible, including Merck, Independence Wealth Partners, Judge Marina Corradimus, Fresh Ponds Farm, Hoagland and Longo, the Higgins Group, Ramatowski and Schwartz, Olympus Construction, and the Kiwanis Club of New Brunswick. I'd also like to put a shout out to say thank you to my fellow 40th anniversary committee members, including Dawn Benjamin, Cyan Bradley, Joe Camarada, Jill Del Gurcio, Pat Grazioso, Joyce Miserak, Diane Palmer, Ellen Schwartz, and Linda Vanderveer. We really appreciate all of your enthusiastic support. And now, I am very pleased to welcome Lou Watson from Music for All Seasons, a partner of Women Aware that has been bringing the healing power of music into our domestic violence shelter for nearly 20 years. Lou is a pianist and composer who blends his deep, warm, sonorous baritone together with songs of his own creation in the classic jazz and R&B tradition. Lou has been performing in nightclubs in the New York metropolitan area, as well as private affairs, both as a solo pianist and vocalist, and with the Lou Watson Jazz Trio, serving up stylish renditions of traditional jazz standards. He has also performed with countless concert tours and road productions. Lou was educated at Livingston College of Rutgers University and has been on the roster for Music for All Seasons since 2002. Lou?
Hello, I'm Lou Watson, and I'm glad to be here on behalf of Music for All Seasons. We've been doing musical programs for Women Aware for nearly 2 decades. We would like to congratulate Women Aware on your 40th anniversary. What an amazing achievement. Continuing to serve those in need not only during normal times, but during this pandemic. I've had so many great in-person visits with your clients and miss seeing you all face to face. Hopefully we will return to in-person programs sometime soon. In the meantime, to keep everyone safe, we will do our programs virtually. At Music for All Seasons, we are committed to supporting survivors' healing through the power of live music. I'm happy to lend my voice tonight in honor of survivors and in memory of those whose lives were tragically taken by an act of domestic violence. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies, you in particular. With all the craziness that's going on around us, it's very easy to forget the truth about who we really are. And the message in this song and why we chose this song is to help us remember our truth, the truth about who we really, really are. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I light, I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I am not mistakes that I have made, any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I left behind. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. So inside is all light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am the start, piece of it all, piece of it all. I am all light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Light.
Thank you, Lou. And I know we can't hear you clapping, but we can sure see you clapping. That was really beautiful. Wicker Memorial Baptist Church and its congregation are generous supporters of Women Aware's work with survivors moving beyond abuse. Wicker Memorial's own pastor, Joseph Pickett, joins us this evening to give the invocation. Welcome, Pastor Pickett.
Father, we come before your presence in the name of Jesus. Ask your blessings upon Women Awareness as they celebrate their 40th year. Ask, Lord God, that you will bless each and every one that is part of the organization and those that they are reaching out to help. I ask that you will continue to keep them strong and united together, for we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. It is now my honor to introduce you to, to introduce to you the Chief Executive Officer of Women Aware, Phyllis Yanta, who has led our organization with compassion, vision, and faith for more than 13 years.
Thank you, Christine, and welcome all. Tonight is special for so many reasons. We celebrate 40 years of moving families beyond abuse. We is the operative word. Saving lives is a community effort, and it is to our community that I am humbly grateful. This is also the first time Women Aware has hosted a virtual Candlelight Vigil. And as a result, our audience is a national one, ranging from Massachusetts to Wisconsin to Florida, giving a survivor a broad platform to share her story, which I believe is a blessing for all of us. We recognize the women who had the fire and courage to establish the first and only domestic violence shelter in Middlesex County, New Jersey. True pioneers. Many thanks to all who have a voice in tonight's program, including our honorees and Christine Clayton-Stroh, Lou Watson, Pastor Joseph Pickett, and Diane Palmer. Thank you to our sponsors and to all of you who have made a personal contribution, set time aside to be here, and encouraged colleagues, family, and friends to take part in tonight's vigil. We appreciate you, and we are grateful to have you on our team. Before I continue with the program, I invite Susan Dykman, our Director of Development, to say a few words. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Good evening. It's been my privilege over the past 7 months to work with our fabulous event committee, sponsors, honorees, and attendees. Women Aware's 40th anniversary event is truly a team effort. Thank you all for making tonight a virtual reality. Our intention tonight is to remember victims whose lives were taken by domestic violence and to honor survivors courageously moving beyond abuse. As you continue to enjoy the program, please consider making a financial donation to Women Aware if you haven't already done so, because tonight is also about raising money. We need your support to ensure that our hotline and emergency shelter remain open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Your giving makes it possible for our free and confidential services to continue to be easily accessible to survivors. It's easy to give. You can donate online on our event page, givebutter.com/womenaware40th, or on our website, womenaware.net. You can text to give 202-858-1233 using code WA40. You can always mail a check to Women Aware. And tonight, through tomorrow night, you can bid on one of our silent auction items at 32auctions.com/WA40th. It's most important that you know that you make a difference. Whatever amount you are able to give, you will save lives. And we thank you for that. Moving forward with our program, I hope you enjoy what's coming next. It is a brief inside look at Women Aware services.
It is now my privilege to turn the program over to the President of Women Aware's Board, Diane Palmer. Diane has served our organization for nearly 30 years, first as a children's program volunteer and gradually moving into leadership positions on the board. To this day, no job is too big nor too small for Diane in her service to our clients and their families. Diane's impact brings to mind a quote from Flavia Whedon. Some people come into our lives and quickly go. Some stay in our lives for a while, leave footprints on our heart, and we are never, ever the same. Tonight, Diane has the pleasure of introducing you to Women Aware's 40th anniversary honorees. Welcome, Diane.
Good evening. May I add my thanks to all of you for being with us tonight for our first ever virtual Candlelight Vigil. Our shared commitment to stabilizing the lives of domestic violence victims, increasing their safety, and reducing barriers to services unites us. I am grateful for your support, and I am honored to present the 40th anniversary honorees. As pioneers, volunteers, and partners, they have lent their voices, energy, and resources to break down barriers between survivors and the services they need. Tonight we are fortunate to be joined by the founder of Women Aware's original emergency shelter in Middlesex County, Diane Palladino, and the shelter's first clinical director, Ellen Coteen. 40 years ago, Diane and Ellen were the true pioneers in giving victims a safe place to go, in calling attention to the reality of abuse and demanding that county, state, and national officials recognize abuse for what it is and provide funding for victim services. I'll begin by sharing a bit about Diane Palladino. A proud graduate of Douglas College, Diane came of age in the 1960s. It was a time of great societal change. The Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, and the emergence of liberation movements such as women's rights, gay rights, farm workers' protests, the rise of Chicano identity, and the American Indian movement, among others. All of these movements imprinted on Diane an understanding that justice was incomplete. She made a personal commitment to contribute to this end in any small ways she could. We know Diane as the founding director of Women Aware. Following that, she was a psychotherapist in the first lesbian gay counseling center in New Jersey, a trainer of volunteers for the first HIV/AIDS hotline in our state, director of Women and the AIDS Network in New Jersey, director of an AIDS program in Massachusetts, and co-founder and director of the HIV/AIDS Law Consortium in Massachusetts. After retirement, Diane became chair of the Pioneer Valley Interfaith Refugee Action Group. The group exists to educate the public about refugees and takes action through programming and interfaces with local, state, and federal representatives, with a focus on Islamophobia and anti-racist attitudes towards immigrants. Diane is grateful for having had these opportunities to work in ways that could assist in making space for voices that had not been heard. Congratulations, Diane, and thank you for making sure so many voices were heard.
I'm pleased and humbled to be honored as the founder of Women Aware. But organizations are not built by one person. I had the support of a number of people. Bill Waldman, who helped me find the first shelter building. Joyce Moncasey, the prosecutor, who ensured that all 28 police departments in Middlesex County would cooperate with me. The staff of counselors who dealt compassionately with all of the women and families in the shelter, and of a little boy who would come down to the office and say, "I need to see a counselor." And Ellen Coteen, the clinical supervisor, who set up a number of systems, who also made invaluable connections with other service providers, and who was always there to assist the staff when a problem came up in a case. All of these people are truly founders. And I dedicate this especially to Sally Mulligan, who has passed away. Thank you again for this honor.
Thank you, Diane. Ellen Coteen always knew she would be a social worker, having written an 8th grade paper titled, "My Future Vocation, Social Work." What she didn't know until halfway through college in the mid-1960s is that she wanted to concentrate on community organization. In 1973, she received a Master of Social Work degree from Fordham University with a major in community organization. Ellen's job as clinical supervisor of the Women Aware Battered Women's Shelter was the first job she had where she really felt at home, even though it was the hardest job she's had in her 40-year career. Her time at Women Aware launched a 20-year career working in women's health. From 1985 until 1990, Ellen was the executive director of the Planned Parenthood League of Middlesex County at a time when HIV/AIDS epidemic arrived with a vengeance. Working with an incredible group of women, Ellen co-founded and co-chaired the New Jersey Women and AIDS Network, a multicultural, non-profit statewide organization. Moving from New Jersey to Massachusetts in 1990, Ellen served as coordinator of a teen pregnancy and infant mortality coalition, and then as health service manager for a family planning organization. She directed a breast cancer education and early detection program and established the Lesbian Education and Health Service. The last decade of her work life was spent as grants coordinator for a small city in East Hampton in western Massachusetts. Ellen secured and managed several $1 million of federal funds to support community development activities. She also helped to organize and co-chaired a citywide arts organization, East Hampton City Arts, which brought together artists, local businesses, and municipal staff. Ellen retired in 2011 with a sense of gratitude for the work she was able to do and appreciation for the opportunities she was given along the way. To her surprise, she discovered an aptitude for photography and opened her own studio in 2006. Ellen enjoys traveling, gardening, participating as a volunteer in social justice organizations, and being with friends and family. Congratulations, Ellen, and thank you for dedicating your life to bringing people together in the name of positive change and meaningful action.
I am grateful to receive recognition from Women Aware, an organization that was significant in my life for many reasons. It gave me the opportunity to work on behalf of women who are being physically and emotionally abused by their husbands and boyfriends, to offer a safe place of refuge to them and their children. It challenged me in more ways than I had ever been challenged before, thus enabling me to grow both professionally and personally. It enabled me to be part of a team of women whose strength, ideals, commitment, and passion cannot be overstated. Many of the women on that team are with us today, 40 years later, and I share this honor with them. Being recognized by Women Aware has also given me an opportunity to reflect on what has been of most value in my life, to work collectively to improve the lives of others, to confront injustice with resistance when necessary, to take risks and show courage when called upon to do so, to support and be supported by those with whom I am working and those on whose behalf I am working, to embrace friendship with love and understanding. All of these values of such importance to me came together during my time working at Women Aware. And thus I feel a deep sense of appreciation for the honor and the kindness Women Aware is giving me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ellen. Next, it is my honor to recognize Ruth Hague. Ruth was born, worked, and lives in New Jersey. She graduated from Douglas College and received her Master of Social Work from Rutgers. Ruth received additional training and was certified as a family therapist and substance abuse counselor. She spent over 40 years as a social worker in diverse settings, which included child welfare, schools, and mental health centers, and providing employee assistance services in large corporate settings and private practice. Ruth has always been active fighting for human rights and in volunteering for social service organizations. After leaving full-time employment, she trained to become a legal advocacy volunteer for Women Aware in 2008 and served survivors as a fervent advocate for more than 7 years. Ruth remains passionate about the incredible services provided by the outstanding professional staff at Women Aware and is in awe of their dedication. Congratulations, Ruth, and thank you for your advocacy and service to Women Aware.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. And there's something backwards about the fact that it is I who should be honoring and thanking Women Aware for the opportunity I've had to work with them. As a career social worker, I've always been aware of domestic violence. I've seen how emotionally, financially, psychologically, and physically domestic violence destroys individuals and families if not stopped. I've also seen how the community treats DV as somehow shame-based, and victims were afraid to come forward for a myriad of reasons. the general assumption was that this kind of thing can't happen in our community. And we all know that it happens everywhere. When I became a legal advocate volunteer, I learned so much I didn't know about the legal system and the incredible obstacles in the path of attaining justice for victims. But I also saw staff for whom their jobs were so much more than simple career roles. There was a passionate commitment to the people they served. I stand in awe of Women Aware, their services, their staff, their board, and what they do. It's also pleased me to see how they've expanded what they do. When I first volunteered with Women Aware, we couldn't even get a waiting room in the courthouse, and now they've become part of the whole family justice system. I couldn't be prouder to be a supporter of this incredible organization, and I appreciate the fact that without them, our communities would be a much less safe place to live.
Thank you, Ruth, and congratulations again. Our next honoree is Paul Sansone Sr., philanthropist and chairman of the board of Motors Management Corp. And the Sansone Dealer Group. Born in Plainfield, New Jersey, Paul graduated from Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx at age 16. He then attended the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York until age 18. Paul first became involved in the automobile business in 1955 when he opened a used car lot in Fords, New Jersey. The opening of his first new car dealership followed in Perth Amboy in 1962. The Sansone Dealer Group now operates 7 automobile franchises in New Jersey and employs approximately 400 people. Paul has also ventured into the foreign market. The Sansone Dealer Group is presently ranked 11th in the United States in multi-dealer networks. Paul strongly believes that particularly in this pandemic environment where people are forced to quarantine together, the business community needs to provide the resources necessary to bring domestic violence to an end. Without funding and support, Women Aware cannot accomplish its mission to the fullest. We are grateful for your philanthropy to Women Aware and support for survivors of domestic violence, Paul. Congratulations.
I am here to wish Women Aware nothing but continued success in their fundraising endeavors. I've met with your president and officers and find them to be very dedicated to the issues of domestic violence, especially during these difficult times. A remarkable effort by Women's Aware is providing safety and support to victims of domestic abuse is outstanding and is worthy of strong support by our business communities. I thank you for permitting me to be part of your family and am proud of our affiliation. I anticipate a long relationship with your foundation.
Thank you, Paul. It has been a great pleasure to introduce tonight's honorees and a wonderful privilege to be part of Women Aware for nearly 30 years. Please join me in a big round of applause for Diane, Ellen, Ruth, and Paul. Thank you.
Honored to have Diane Palladino and Ellen Coteen as our keynote speakers for tonight's celebration. Diane?
Okay, here I go. I'm unmuted now. Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk about the beginnings of the shelter. I was hired on November 13th, 1978, as director of a shelter that didn't yet exist. It would be the 7th shelter in New Jersey. And my first job was to find a building or space, and the second was to hire staff. Finding a place was not that easy. First of all, they were pretty expensive. And second of all, no one wanted a shelter in their neighborhood. So we finally found a small town in Middlesex County.
But there's no last name, so I don't know if it's.
And the mayor was not that pleased, but he agreed to have us there. We rented 3 apartments, 2 of which had 2 bedrooms each, a living room, and a kitchen. And I must just say that the kitchen did not look like the kitchens I just saw in the opening. Anyway, altogether, we had room for 16 individuals, and the apartments were furnished with secondhand furniture and lightweight iron bunk beds. For some reason, they were red, is what I recall. 2 sets to each bedroom. We also had some cribs, and each apartment had a pull-out couch for overflow. The third apartment on the ground floor was used for offices. The first room held a copy machine, a fax machine, a used Selectric typewriter. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Part-time secretary and a bookkeeper. The next room was used as counselor space, crammed with 6 desks. And third was my office, which was shared with a clinical director and the hotline. The kitchen played a dual role as lunchroom and as a conference room. The counselors and I installed the furniture and bought linens, towels, plates, etc. from wherever we could get them. These were not lavish accommodations, looked nothing like what you have now, I'm sure. A word about technology. I mentioned a copy machine and a fax machine and a Selectric typewriter. We also had a beeper. It was 1979, and there were no personal computers. Therefore, there was no internet. Therefore, there was no email. Cell phones weren't invented yet, so there was no texting. The lack of modern technology really had real implications for all of us. For instance, when a woman called the hotline at saying that her abuser was outside the bathroom with a gun, and then the line went dead, we had no way to trace her. So we never know who she was or what happened to her. Also, when a counselor left to pick up a client, I was anxious until she returned. She had no way to communicate with me if there was a problem because there were no cell phones. I want to talk a bit about legislation. The only penalty that existed for domestic violence was a misdemeanor charge, and the maximum for that was a year in jail and some monetary fee. In Middlesex County, this penalty was never given when we were there. For the most part, the abuser got a slap on the wrist and told not to do it again. So in 1979, at a seminar sponsored by Legal Services, a panel asked the community what they wanted legal services to support. And our legal advocate, Kathy Lackett, said we needed stronger laws for domestic violence. That led to a two-year collaboration between Legal Services and the New Jersey Coalition. And they decided to draft and pass a stronger law. We gave Kathy the time to work with this group. With great support from Senator Winona Littman from Newark and Congressman Barbara McConnell from Huntington, and I understand the Old Girls Network, the legislation was finally passed on January 9th, 1982. The shelter formally opened in 1979 with 2 clients, a woman with 6 children and a Chinese woman who spoke no English. Both were challenges in different ways. I can't tell you more about them because my time is almost up, but I will conclude by saying that the time I was director of the shelter was the most meaningful of all my jobs. To call it a job is really not correct. It was a time of intense bonding with other women, a chance to create systems based on our own knowledge and experience to build pathways for victims of abuse that didn't exist before. For this, I am eternally grateful. And I just want to say that there are staff here from the original beginnings of the shelter. And I want to say a shout out to them and how much they were a part of all of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane.
You're welcome.
And actually, you were just mentioning, before we hear from Ellen, I'd like to quickly introduce some of the original Women Aware staff members who are here with us tonight. So just like we did at the beginning, when you hear your name, if you could give us a quick wave so that we can see who you are, that would be terrific. We have Stephanie Baffichet, Leah Brown Klein, Maureen Donovan, Maureen Crowley, Carol Giordano, Karen Del Cole, and Kathleen Devin Lackett. And I just want to say, as much as things have changed because we're all here on video instead of being in a room together, I think this is one of the really exciting things that we are able to do. If we're all in the same room, we wouldn't have the opportunity to have so many of the original staff here with us tonight. So I really think that's a really great opportunity that this time has given us. And now with that, I'd like to pass it over to Ellen.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here to talk about our shared experiences from so many years ago. My first day of work as the clinical supervisor of Women Aware, then called Abused Women Services, was January 19th, 1979, and my last day was July 15th, 1981. What transpired during those 2.5 years was transformative for me. Let's just say my life would never be the same. At the beginning, we had 20 counselors working 3 shifts a day. For many, this was their first job. Diane and I were considered old. We were in our early 30s, whereas many of the counselors were in their early 20s. Within my first month, the 24-hour-a-day hotline was started, and women and their children were admitted to their shelter. What to do first? Train the staff on how to answer the hotline, how to arrange to get women and children safely to the shelter, establish a comprehensive network of educational, social, housing, legal, and medical services, all needed by our clients. Meet with hospital staff as to how to refer women showing up in the emergency rooms with domestic violence injuries. Work with the welfare department to ensure that abused women received all the benefits to which they were entitled. Arrange a referral network with other shelters in order to move Middlesex County women out of the county when it was not safe for them to remain. The answer, as you can imagine, was that we needed to do all these things and do them soon. The first few months were a blur. Diane and I conducted 7 initial staff trainings with the counselors about myths related to battered women, counseling skills and techniques, how to conduct support groups, and more. We worked out cooperative service agreements with the emergency room and social services staff at 4 local hospitals, with mental health centers, the county superintendent's office, legal services, the Rape Crisis Center, Displaced Homemaker Center, to name just some. As part of the process of establishing service agreements, it was necessary to conduct training programs about abused women so that our clients would be appropriately served, and we did. During all these trainings, Diane and I learned that we were extremely simpatico in our approach and interventions. Our roles were different. Diane had all administrative responsibilities, and I was the immediate supervisor of the counselors. Fortunately, our skills and attitudes were complementary. The late 1970s was the beginning of the battered women's movement. Shelter services did not exist before the 1970s. There were no protocols for the police to follow, and many did not take violence occurring within the home as a serious matter. Judges often issued a warning and then sent the perpetrators back home. Doctors certainly did not screen their patients for domestic violence. Clergy, and often their own parents, told women that they had made their bed and now they must lie in it. Abuse within the home was a private matter. We were creating a whole new system of services and ways of thinking about abused women and their families. It was not uncommon for an issue, often a crisis, to come up for which we did not have the answer. Diane and I would calmly say to the counselor, "We'll get right back to you," and then we would go into the kitchen, that was the only private area, close the cloth door, close the cloth curtain, as there were no doors, look at each other and say, "What do we do now?" We'd come up with a solution, go back to the counselor, and say with as much confidence as we could muster, "This is what you do." In other words, sometimes we made it up as we went along. The counselors were amazing. There were times they put themselves in danger to get a woman and her children away from the abuser. The 3 counselor supervisors rotated having the hotline automatically go to their home phone at night. Imagine being awakened at 3 a.m., answering the phone, and hearing a woman say, "I'm locked in the bathroom, my husband is just outside the door, and he's yelling that he will break my neck." This was not just a job for the counselors. It was a dedication to helping women escape a dangerous situation, and then providing as many services as possible to increase the likelihood that she would have the strength and support to establish a violence-free life for herself and her children. It took great courage for women to call us on the hotline and to come into the shelter, and much determination to stay in the shelter. As Diane said, our shelter was basic in every respect. In the summer, the temperature in the shelter area reached 90 degrees and more. I'll never forget coming back on a Monday, fully expecting that one particular woman would have left over the weekend, only to find her and her children still there. She came from a lavish home. She said to me, "I am more comfortable and feel safer here in this upper bunk bed in the sweltering heat than I would in my air-conditioned home." A tremendous asset also was the New Jersey Coalition for Battered Women, to which all 8 shelters belong. The administrative staff of the shelters met one Saturday a month for a day of training, networking, mutual support, and strategizing. We were the first generation of service providers to battered women, and we were passionate. I was privileged to serve as vice president one year and president the next. All the shelters were funded by the New Jersey Division for Youth and Family Services. At one point, the legislature in Trenton were considering a bill to cut funding to the shelters. The coalition organized a demonstration outside their building. We had an ally, Winona Lippman. She was the first African-American woman elected to the New Jersey Senate, and she scheduled us to speak during the demonstration. 3 clients and I spoke. We also had a staff member who had a second job working at a funeral home. She arranged for us to have a coffin, and this coffin was carried around during the demonstration. The legislators heard us loud and clear and allocated us an additional $250,000, which at that time was a lot of money. I have a great deal of admiration for the counselors, shelter directors, and clients from that period. They all demonstrated the conviction that no woman should be abused by the man who is supposed to love and support her. And here we are, 40 years later. It's an honor for me to participate in this event and to know that the shelter and services we began are being continued, expanded, and improved by a new generation of committed women. I'm grateful to all of you at Women Aware. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. On behalf of today's Board of Directors and staff, I offer my thanks to both of you and to the founding board members and original staff for laying the foundation for everything that Women Aware has become 40 years later.
You bet your ass.
As we look ahead to lighting our candles and sharing a moment of silence, I'm now honored to invite Bluma to share her strength, her courage, and part of her survivor story with us tonight.
I would not be as strong as I am or be where I am at this point without Women Aware. I truly mean this with all my heart. When I chose to leave a really bad situation, I was afraid for my life. Being a mother, I was even more afraid. I felt alone as my life came to a halt, but the rest of the world kept moving. I knew I needed help and support, but I laughed at the idea of therapy. I remember sitting in a group and not saying a word. I just wanted to crawl up in a ball and cry. Women Aware actually saved my life. There was no staff member that didn't greet you open-armed. I felt cared about every step of the way. The other women in the group sharing their stories, I didn't feel alone anymore. I started opening up and sharing my thoughts in groups. Each group passed and I felt the strength of the other women and staff helping me push through my fight to survive. There were days I wanted to give up and I'd break down crying during group, but everyone understood my pain and there was no judgment. As a parent, we want the best for our kids, but we're not perfect, and sometimes we don't know what the best thing to do is. There has never been a time where I couldn't rely on Women Aware for support in what was going on and what I should do to help my child. In the therapy I once laughed at became the stepping stones for my success. I've been a part of Women Aware and my child part of the PALS program on and off for a few years. But even while we are not, we still have the love and support we need from them. I know that they are there for me and just a phone call away. Women Aware will always be a part of me.
Thank you, Bluma. At this time, I invite you to join me in lighting the candle as a symbol of hope and support for Bluma and all survivors. And really, get your candles. I'm going to light one too. We stand together with survivors and their families wherever they are in their journey beyond abuse. We remember every victim whose life was ended by domestic violence over the past year. May they rest in peace as we send our thoughts and prayers to the families and friends left behind. Please join me now for a moment of silence. Thank you. In Middlesex County, Women Aware and our community partners are moving forward with the establishment of a Family Justice Center, a one-stop shop for victim services. Following last February's forum to discuss this concept with community stakeholders, we created a short video to illustrate what a Family Justice Center is and the impact it has on connecting survivors with the services they need. Please watch.
Together, we are better. We are better dialoguing, sharing unity. We are better sharing our expertise and our resources, and sometimes even just an ear. I get to see the best and the worst of mankind, but I like to keep focus on the best.
This is a significant moment in our shared history of serving victims of domestic violence in Middlesex County. We gather as community partners today for two purposes: to learn the definition of a Family Justice Center from the Alliance for Hope team, and to explore the need for this internationally recognized model in our county.
The core concept of a Family Justice Center is to provide an opportunity for victims to receive help at a single location. Victims receiving help for planning for their own safety. Victims receiving help in applying for public benefits, shelter, housing, and other support services. Victims receiving help for mental health and counseling services to support the emotional well-being of the victim and his or her children. Help and information on job training programs, including workshops to help with budgeting, credit repair, and English as a second language classes. Legal help for orders of protection, custody, visitation, child support, divorce, housing, and immigration. Help connecting to trained law enforcement, such as New Brunswick Police Department, the Middlesex County Sheriff's Office, and the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. And more importantly, child care for the children while these services are all being explored and applied for.
Victims don't like having to go place to place. They don't like telling their story over and over and over again. The need to bring professionals together was crucial. And we're talking governmental, non-governmental people all together in one space. The goal is to help communities create a family justice center that represents their community. And that's really what the Family Justice Center framework is all about. It is about public safety. It's a place where the community comes together, survivor voices, like I already said, comes together and creates the center for your community. Practices, guiding principles, and again, accountability to survivors, because that's our focus. It's all about the survivors.
I have the pleasure to introduce Jose Velasquez, and he is here today to share his story with all of you. So, welcome Jose Velasquez, please.
Mi nombre es José Velázquez. Estoy aquí para compartir la historia de mi hija, Victoria Velázquez. ¿Verdad? Ella estaba en una relación abusiva y como en varias ocasiones, ¿verdad?, su esposo se puso celoso y le empezó a discutir con mi hija y terminó golpeándola. Él siguió golpeándola en la cabeza y le quebró el cráneo. Pero sus heridas la dejaron sin moverse, caminar o hablar. Una persona maltratada y su familia necesitan mucho apoyo para superar el abuso. El camino no ha sido fácil pero estoy agradecido por el apoyo que hemos recibido. Les agradezco a los trabajadores y al equipo de fiscales que todo lo que hicieron, espero que trabajen juntos para ayudar a acabar con esto.
That's what's great about partners. I don't have to be the expert in everything. I'm bringing those partners that are doing that work in my community to the table, and then they are still the expert. They're just in the Family Justice Center framework. So the Family Justice Center concept is not just this other social service initiative that's happening over here. It truly is a public safety crime prevention initiative.
What I want to say is our dream is to have, let me be really clear, not a women-aware Justice Center, a Middlesex County Family Justice Center, where all our members, all our resources are in one roof, working together, sharing our resources and sharing our expertise. And this evidence-based model has been shown not only to reduce recidivism of the perpetrator, but also to reduce homicides. And after all, everybody, isn't that why we're here? Okay? We can do this better, and we will.
As our program draws to a close, and on behalf of Women Aware, I want to offer my thanks to all the sponsors and donors who made possible tonight's program and helped to ensure free and confidential services for survivors moving beyond abuse. To all of you joining us tonight who have not yet donated, please join Women Aware on the front lines against domestic violence by making a donation. This is your opportunity to give a gift that saves lives. Please donate. Do it tonight. Help survivors move beyond abuse to healthy, safe, independent lives. You can click the donate button on our event page. You can text to give at 202-858-1233 and use code WA40. You can mail a check to Women Aware. You can give online at our website, womenaware.net, and you can bid on one of our silent auction items at auctions32.com/WA40th. At this time, I invite you to look in the chat where you will find the lyrics to our closing song from Music for All Seasons. So I hope you are all in great voice tonight. Please join Lou in singing Fight Song, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Well, you know it's time to fight. Fight for what you believe in. Fight for what you love. Fight for the truth. Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like a single word can make your heart open. I might only have one latch, I can make an explosion. All the things I didn't say, wrecking balls inside my brain. I can scream it out tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Say I'm alright song. My power's turned on, starting right now. I'll be strong. This is my fight song. Really don't care if nobody else believes. I still got a lot of fight left in me. Losing friends, I'm chasing sleep. Everybody's worried about me. Send them in too deep. Send them in too deep. It's been 2 years since I've been home. Fire's burning in my bones. Said I still believe. Said I still believe. All the things I didn't say, wrecking balls inside my brain. I can scream it out tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on, starting right now. I'll be strong. This is my fight song. Really don't care if nobody else believes. I still got a lot of fight left in me. Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like a single word can make your heart open. I might only have one left, I can make an explosion. This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on, starting right now. I'll be strong. This is my fight song. Really don't care if nobody else believes. I still got a lot of fight left in me. I still got a lot of fight left in me.
On behalf of everyone here at Women Aware, I thank you all for making the time to join us tonight. You made our 40th anniversary virtual Candlelight Vigil a true night to remember. And I'm so glad that so many people were able to connect and reconnect, even though we couldn't all be together in the same space. We were together in the same space at the end. Please feel free to put any last comments in the chat. And thank you again, and have a great rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Back to adolescent world. It's gonna be fine when there's more people, and I don't have to do it.
Hey, Carol.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Bye. See you
Hi, guys.
soon.
Okay. Yeah, that's the foundation of that house now.
Maureen, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Maureen. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi.